My brother and his wife moved in with our parents and are outraged that I refused to babysit their kids while they were planning to relax. My parents sided with them, so I moved out and stopped paying their bills. She demanded, hands on her hips. Exactly what it sounds like, I replied, zipping up my duffel bag. I'm going to Pine Ridge Resort with my friends for the weekend. But you can't. Sam exclaimed. We have Aunt Linda's party. No. You have Aunt Linda's party. I corrected him. I stopped what I was doing and turned to face them all. Why am I just hearing about this party now? Why wasn't I included in any of the planning? Mom hesitated, looking uncomfortable for the first time. Sam jumped in, his voice dripping with condescension. We all discussed it and decided this would work best for everyone. We go to the party, you watch the kids. It's the most logical arrangement. You all discussed it? I repeated slowly. Without me? And decided what I would be doing with my weekend? How convenient. Well, you can't exactly bring small children to a sophisticated party, Sam sniffed. Aunt Linda specifically said no kids. I shouldered my duffel bag. Sounds like a you problem. They're your kids, Sam. Figure it out. What's that supposed to mean? Michelle finally spoke up, frowning. It means exactly what it sounds like. I have plans. I'm going skiing. Your children are your responsibility, not mine. If you can't bring them to the party, either don't go or hire a babysitter. A babysitter? Sam screeched. With what money? Again, not my problem. I turned to face them all, suddenly feeling stronger than I had in months, maybe years. Let me make this perfectly clear. I am going skiing tomorrow. I am done being your free convenient babysitter. I'm done having my weekends hijacked, my plans ignored, and my life treated like it doesn't matter. If you need childcare, Sam, that's your responsibility as a parent. Stop assuming I'll always be there to pick up your slack. The silence that followed was deafening. They all stared at me as if I'd suddenly started speaking in tongues. Sam's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. Mom looked like she'd been slapped. Dad seemed to be trying to disappear into the doorframe. And Michelle, well, Michelle just stood there with that same confused expression she'd been wearing since her company went bankrupt. The moment of shocked silence didn't last long. Sam's face crumpled, and he burst into theatrical sobs, covering his face with his hands. Michelle muttered something that sounded distinctly like ungrateful bastard under her breath. How dare you? Mom's voice rose. After everything we've done for you, you're being completely irresponsible. Selfish. Dad chimed in, shaking his head. Absolutely selfish. I stood there, my duffel bag still over my shoulder, watching my family turn into a Greek chorus of accusations. The words washed over me. Selfish, ungrateful, inconsiderate, immature. Each one meant to cut deep, to put me back in my place. Then Mom delivered what she clearly thought would be the knockout blow. If you walk out that door tomorrow, don't bother coming back to this house. To everyone's surprise, I burst out laughing. Not a nervous giggle, but a full genuine laugh. They all stared at me as if I'd lost my mind. You know what's funny? I said, wiping tears from my eyes. I've been dreaming about moving out of this house for months. I just didn't have the courage to do it. But here you are giving me the perfect excuse. So thank you, Mom. Get out. Sam shrieked, his fake sobs forgotten in his rage. Just get out. Gladly, I pulled out my phone and dialed Rachel's number, putting it on speaker just to make a point. Hey, Rach? Sorry to call so late, but is that offer to crash at your place still good? Not just for after skiing, but maybe for a few days? Of course. Rachel's cheerful voice filled the room. I have a spare room. Want to come over now? That would be perfect. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I spent the next 15 minutes gathering everything I could fit in my car, clothes, important documents, personal items. They watched from various doorways as I made trips up and down the stairs, as if they couldn't quite believe I was really doing it. When I had loaded the last box, I walked into the living room where they had all gathered. Oh, one more thing, I said, my voice steady. Since I won't be living here anymore, I won't be paying any of the bills, either. You'll need to figure out how to support yourselves. Mom's face went pale. But the utilities, the groceries, not my problem anymore, I said, echoing my words from earlier. I turned and walked out the front door, ignoring Mom's suddenly panicked calls behind me. The drive to Rachel's place was a blur of adrenaline and relief. My phone kept lighting up with calls and messages, angry texts from Sam, guilt-tripping novels from Mom, stern disappointments from Dad. I ignored them all. The next morning, Rachel and I drove to Pine Ridge Resort as planned. For the first time in what felt like forever, I spent a weekend doing exactly what I wanted to do. We skied, we laughed, we had hot chocolate by the fire, and not once did I have to worry about anyone else's children or problems. When we got back Sunday night, I opened my laptop and started searching for apartments. With my salary no longer going to support my family, I could actually afford a decent place. By Wednesday, I had found a small but bright one-bedroom apartment in a nice area of town, just a 15-minute drive from my office. My first week in my new apartment was like learning to breathe again. Every morning, I woke up to blessed silence. No screaming children, no blaring TV, no guilt-inducing sighs from my mother. I could make coffee and drink it while it was still hot. I could spend my evenings reading or watching whatever I wanted on Netflix. The messages kept coming though. I didn't answer the calls, but I couldn't help reading the texts. They followed a predictable pattern. Mom, how could you abandon your family like this? We need you. Sam, you're so selfish. The kids keep asking where Uncle Andy is. Dad, your mother is very upset. You need to make this right. The messages cycle between guilt trips and anger, accusations and pleas. I read them all but responded to none. My silence seemed to drive them even crazier. They weren't used to not having power over me. After a week of this, I was sitting on my new couch when Mom's number flashed on my phone again. This time, I decided to answer. Andy, finally. Mom's voice was sharp. I can't believe you ruined our entire weekend. Aunt Linda's party was completely disrupted because of your selfish behavior. Sam and Michelle couldn't come because you refused to watch the children and stop. My voice was quiet but firm. Just stop. I'm done with this, Mom. I'm done being treated like a servant in my own home. I'm done being expected to sacrifice everything, my time, my money, my life, for everyone else's convenience. I'm done being the family ATM and free babysitter while being treated like I don't matter. There was a long pause on the other end. When Mom spoke again, her voice had changed to that wheedling tone I knew so well. Honey, I know things haven't been perfect, but we're family. We need you. The bills this month, we're struggling without your help. No, Mom. I'm done. Maybe someday we can have a relationship again, but it will be on equal terms. No more manipulation, no more guilt trips, no more treating me like a walking wallet or free childcare service. Until then, I need space to live my own life. I hung up and immediately blocked her number. Then I went through my phone and blocked them all. Mom, Dad, Sam, even Michelle. I blocked them on social media too. It felt both terrifying and liberating, like cutting anchor lines I hadn't even realized were holding me down. Maybe someday I'll be ready to have my family back in my life. Maybe with enough time and distance, we can build something new, something healthier, with boundaries and respect, or maybe we won't. Either way, I'm done sacrificing my own happiness and well-being to meet their endless demands.